We're gonna do a song that you never heard before.
The volume.
Here they come and get wicked. Here we go again.
Ace Kennedy, my brother from another mother.
What's up, man?
Hey, listen, I got a question for you. I thought about something here, right? Especially in light of me wearing my boy. Shout out to the Fresh 8 boss. I got a question for you that I've been seeing floating around on social media since like last week. You ready for it? I don't know if you heard, but you might know. 100 men versus one gorilla. Who you taking? No weapons. 100 men versus one silverback gorilla.
I got 100 men, bro. But
100 men, huh?
yeah. But at the same time, though, there's gonna be a lot of lost life on the men's. Listen,
I said, man, listen. I don't want to be one of the ones that get bit by the gorilla because you know when you see them silverback, because of their diet, some of their teeth are black, right? So I don't want to get bit. Like I don't want to get bit specifically in my shoulder by one of them gorillas, bro.
okay, two things. One, I didn't know that this was a thing until two things happened. Yesterday, randomly, I saw somebody post. He said, it was like you know how everybody making TikToks and stuff, and so he was like, he was the last one of the 100 men left, and so he was trying to convince the silverback, like, nah, bro, I don't want no smoke, I don't want the smoke. So he took his shirt off and walked off like a gorilla. But let me tell you, Jarian had came up to me at work today. He was like, bro, I'm so sick of my timeline right now. He said, because that's all I'm seeing is this. And so I just literally was on X, and it was 10,000 gorillas versus 100 versus a million men, and them gorillas was going through them, bro. But this is what's funny. This is what makes
10,000 gorillas. 10,000 gorillas versus a million men. Like if it was 10,000 versus 100,000, I think a million is just a lot. You'd win in numbers.
you
But,
think
but
you
here's
would
my
think.
thing about it. Who do you grip? Okay, let me ask you this. Here's a follow up to that question, though, right? Who are amongst the 100 that you get?
That's what I'm saying. It's gonna be a lot of lost life. Because I mean, you can have dudes that think they tough. It's a whole different thing when you're around a wild animal that's in its natural element and you ain't got no weapons. You know what I'm saying? Like them punches ain't like them human punches ain't the same, bro. Because like you said, that gorilla will bite, swing, claw. I mean, the strength alone is different. It's just this a different type of strength. It's a different than a baby strength and that old man strength that people think is, or that adrenaline strength that you get when you can just pick up a car because your baby steps, left inside of it. Yeah, that,
Fact.
that that gorilla got that strength all day long, bro.
I'm picking the mountain.
Oh, you
The
picking them out?
mountain from Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Listen, I need this. What I need this is the way I look at it. In order for us to win, it is going to be a lot of losses, right? But I also need someone who's going to be big enough to creep behind him while he's distracted and put him in a big chokehold. Somebody who's strong enough to choke him out,
Yeah,
right? Because you think that some of these gorillas are like 500 pounds, so right. So I think that if you can get somebody to grab his arms, right, and you grab all the limbs, I need the mountain to be able to go ahead and choke him out, though, man. So I definitely need to have the mount. I need to have about 10 guys from the strongman competition out there, though, right?
man,
I
give
need
me
to
Brock,
get.
bro. Give me Brock.
I,
Give me
I
Brock.
was gonna say, so you think Brock Lesnar? Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, get you can throw Brock in there. You can throw Bobby Lashley in there. I need the muscle, bro. I really need the muscle, though, bro. But
Yeah, but you don't need that
but the
weak muscle. You
strong
need
man.
that real muscle, though.
Hmm?
You need that real muscle, not that weak muscle, not just the looker muscle.
Yeah. So I think that definitely though, man. I think them strong men that be out there that be out there throwing the big boulders around in competition. I need like 10 of them as my core set of guys, right? And I gotta mix them in because I can't lose all of them at the same time though, right? So yeah. I think
Now,
it's doable. 100 is just that's you can be outnumbered. But I just think that I don't want to be the one that get bit by a gorilla, bro. I just don't.
man, I ain't trying to get killed by that gorilla. You talking about getting bit. But it was funny though, is because I'm not gonna spoil it, but Kevin Hart got a good ape joke in
Oh my god.
the new set. In the new set, that's all I'm gonna say.
Listen, I'm attacking the gorilla. My strategy is to attack him in waves of 25. Like 25 at a time. And
Bro,
then
you
like
gotta
every
overcome
5 minutes bring in another 25.
So you basically want him to have rounds of Mortal Kombat, basically, because he gonna
Yeah.
nah, bro. You better overwhelm him with numbers, bro.
25. That's 25 is a lot. 25. You surround him at 25 and 25 and 25 4 times. I think he'd be done.
Okay. All right.
25,
All right,
25, 25.
let's get that music popping, bro. We got some things.
Let's do it, man.
If you smell.
The Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time. The Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest
It
podcast
doesn't
of
matter
all
what
time.
your name is. It doesn't matter what your name
The
is.
Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time. The greatest podcast of all time.
Listen, if you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe to the Slash Brothers YouTube and Facebook page and our new TikTok page. We're live on all platforms at the same time. You click on the notification, you click on the bell, you get the heads up whenever your boys are doing their thing. Hey, Kennedy. I laughed because I saw Glorilla responding to that whole thing too, though, man. So I thought that was pretty hilarious, though, man.
Hey, bro. Last time we spoke on the pod, I said episode 2. I said I wasn't gonna give no spoilers, but it's been out for a minute, so we're gonna throw the spoiler tag up.
Okay.
What you think about that episode 2, The Last of Us?
Hey, listen. Okay, so very surprising because I don't follow the video game, right? I just watch it from just a series perspective and entertainment perspective, right? And so I think that I was very surprised that he died, right? It's like and the thing I think that's crazy is that usually when you get like a main character dying, you on a series, it's usually like something epic. Like the only thing I can kind of compare it to is like when I thought Rick was dying on Walking Dead, or like
See, for me, why you thinking? For me, the death was like Ned Stark, because
Ned Stark is a perfect example.
yeah,
But
because
the only difference is Ned Stark died so early on in season 1
he did.
that it just yeah.
But again, the way the series was set up, you thought the Starks were the main characters. So I still didn't, and they already said, hey, all you got to do is go out here and admit that you was wrong. We gonna let you go. You're gonna have to do a little time or something, whatever, right? And that was it. So it was complete shock when his head got cut off. I'm thinking like, yo, that was the main character in my brain, because of course I didn't know nothing about Game of Thrones at the time. So, you
Ned
know,
Stark is a good comparison. So, you
you
Ned
know,
Stark is a good comparison. That Ned Stark is a good because again, I never read the books for Game of Thrones, so I did like you think that okay, this was going to be about Ned Stark, them basically, and all the Starks coming through, taking over. So yeah, I can see that though, man. But I can't think of another series, man, where I saw one of the main people just die off. But then I think that because here's the thing, the thing I think that is interesting though, like I said, I still don't have any interest in going to see what the video game says. I just want to watch it for what it is. So knowing that he died so early on to this season, you still have a long rest of the season too, and then you still have possible seasons in the future. So it does set the tone. But like you, I thought that he was the main guy. Like I thought that it's about him and his girl and him getting his girl throughout their journey together, not knowing that he is just getting to you to a certain point though.
now another show that for me was a shock was Succession when the dad died. Because that was another one when I didn't tell you about it, that I let you see it for yourself. Yeah, that was another one. But like you said, this is a part of the video game, and they are breaking they're breaking the second game into 2 seasons. So we get season 2, season 3 out of this. And the way that the directors them was trying to say it was like Abby has a perspective that she's the good guy, because she's like, listen, Joel was selfish because Ellie was about to sacrifice herself to get the antidote so that everybody could be saved from the infected, and then boom, you walk in and shoot my dad in the head. You know what I'm saying? So in her perspective, you shot my dad with no regard, like you didn't care about nothing but what you had going on. So she looked at him as the bad guy. So from her perspective, she's thinking she's doing everything right. You know what I'm saying? So we got 2 different characters who have both lost their fathers going in line with what they think is right.
I got one. This. While his death is shocking, right? Nothing. I think to me, more than Ned Stark, right? Nothing, and I mean nothing, bro, compares to Glenn dying in The Walking Dead, bro.
Okay, see, I wasn't a big
That's
Walking
the
Dead.
most.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So listen, the reason why Glenn's death. Glenn was a season 1 person. So it's one thing when someone dies. Usually, in these, they die and they die on I'm not Game of Thrones, on The Walking Dead. Someone dies because they got bit. You die in some heroic fashion. Like I remember Maggie's dad died, even though he had they cut off his leg or whatnot. He died, but he died kind of giving up his body to the walker so that everybody would be able to get away from it. But when Negan smashed Glenn in the head, bro, and smashed my boy with the red head with the bat, and I think that the part that was the most heart-wrenching part of that was that he was still reaching out to Maggie while dying. Epic, and I think that it's the most shocking that I remember. This one might be up there. It's definitely in like the top 20 for television for me. Glenn dying is definitely it. But but to your point though, right? I do get what you mean, because I think that in this particular perspective, you think that someone is like the hero, or someone could be not necessarily the villain. They could be the anti-hero, basically, though. And I think in this particular joint, I think that the one thing that is cool is that both of them felt like what they were doing were the right thing. Like, even though the girl is basically trying to go ahead and say, I'm going to avenge him, I'm going to get some revenge, the other girl's like, listen, I was the one getting the original revenge. I was the one that was wrong. And so I think that it is one of those things that we talk about, how 2 things can be true when 2 people feel like they were wrong. I think that both of them could be looking at things from different perspectives, but also walking their truths, though.
Now, in Walking Dead, wasn't Glenn like, didn't they like fake his death a bunch of times or something?
Oh man, Glenn almost died like 700 times though, bro. Like the time I thought that he died for sure was one time he had fell. He was climbing on top of a roof and lost his footing. And somehow, man, he fell down under like a trash can, bro, or between the trash can. And you see all of these walkers just digging into guts, though, bro. And I was like, oh, my dude. He was my favorite one. And then come to find out, man, that it was actually a walker, a dead walker on top of him. And he somehow slid under it. That was the one that was the most epic, though, man. But definitely Glenn was number because Glenn had been on by the time Glenn died. I mean, they was up to like season 7 or something like that, 6 or something. So yeah. This one is more so surprising to me because it was so early, and again, not being familiar with the video game, I thought that it was the story was about them too and their journey together, and not necessarily knowing that it's really just about her. So nah, I didn't catch that part though.
Listen, bro, I didn't believe it so much. They was dragging his body, and I still didn't believe it, bro. My brain was making up all kind of stuff like he got
He can wake up.
Yeah, like he got infected, and maybe Ellie was gonna give him some of his blood, and he was gonna come back and before he turned all the way. Bro, I was making up all kind of stuff when she shot him in his knee. And with that shotgun, I was like, oh yeah, they'll repair his leg. Like they'll, get the turn. I mean, I'm making up everything. It wasn't until I watched the after show and they was like, yeah. And this was an emotional scene when he died. And I was like, oh, he gone for real, bro. It got me, bro. It got me. Yeah.
And definitely one of them ones though, man. Yeah, definitely one of them ones. All right. Shout out to Ashanti as well. I see you in the comments, though. See you in the chat. What's happening? We talking about something every day. We got to catch up. We didn't get a chance to get on yesterday. So we got a couple things we got to catch up on though, man.
Oh yeah, let me talk about how I was trolling people today, bro. So you and I had spoke and we talked about Sinners. And again, we talking spoilers. The movie been out for a couple of weeks now, so we talking Sinners. And
wait, we haven't talked about it here. So let's talk about it here and we can get to your point as well.
We are.
Okay.
Yeah. All I'm saying is, my post today was about Sinners, and I said that to me, Hailee Stein, what is her last name?
Steinfeld.
Yeah. Steinfeld. That's right. It is. Hailee Steinfeld was the real MVP. And bro, them black women was coming for me everywhere, bro.
What they were saying, bro?
Oh, they was trying to run me down, bro. They was trying to run your boy down. And I'm like, boy, this is what I be talking about, how people don't be reading nothing. Because see, they interpreted it as her character. And I'm talking about the actress, Hailee Steinfeld, and how she did the part or whatever. So they was, of course, they was talking about Wunmi, saying that she was the real MVP. And I'm like, listen, she was the hero of the movie, right? I get it. But the real MVP to me was Hailee Steinfeld on how she portrayed the character. Because when I know from her, I know her as Hawkeye's sidekick, right? She was about to be in the Young Avengers. I wasn't prepared for her to be grown up. You know what I'm saying? Doing grown up stuff and saying grown up things. You know what I'm saying? She and then to me, right? What I said that for is because the dialect that she used, the twang, that like everything she did when she spoke, it didn't sound like a white girl trying to be black, right? She sounded like a white girl that was raised around black people. And get it, her dad is black, so she just looks white. She's kind of got the logic thing going or whatever like that. But it still was depicted like she was this white girl. What's up?
Wait. I'm not familiar with her background. So she's not white in real life?
Nah, I think in real life.
Oh my God. I didn't know that at all. I didn't know that at all. I thought that she was white, bro. No, I didn't know that she was I didn't know she was just light skinned, bro.
No. Okay, I take that back. So in real life, I mean, she's mixed though, but because her dad looks white. Let me see. let's see. Her dad looks, yeah, her dad is Jewish and Filipino, Irish, Scottish, German. So he's not white. You know what I'm saying?
He
But
black though.
huh?
He ain't black though
Nah. But what I'm saying in the movie though, that's how she was
in the
portrayed.
movie.
Yeah,
Right,
in the
right,
movie
right.
they said like, because that was a thing, like, you know, when the vampires pulled up to the door and they was like, I thought y'all was just rolling with the blacks tonight. Like, you know, like, what's up? Why she up in there? And they like, oh, she family, right? And that was the thing though. To me, her character suffered more loss than everybody else. I know other people had loss. I even know that Humney had lost. You know what I'm saying? But the most loss was Haley Steinfeld's character. She lost Stack. She lost her mom. She lost her husband. She lost her life. And then she also had to be careful on how she interacted with black people because she would have lost her community. Like there was a lot of stuff that she had to internalize, and the way that she portrayed the character I thought was phenomenal. So that was where I was coming from. But I knew when I posted that what everybody was going to interpret out of it. That's why I was trolling.
No, I think that this is the thing about. I mean, great points. I think that the part. Now, this is the thing I think that's interesting to me, though, bro. Is that this is one of the few times, though, man, where I saw a movie and you had a reason to be invested in every individual character, right?
Right.
So you might see that as her, right? I think that for me, I might take that same perspective of all of the women in this. It was literally something for everybody because you think though, right? I mean, you had Stax's girl who, he came back, you know what I'm saying? She was the one that they had the baby together that passed
Smoke.
away though.
Yeah.
I love where she was. I
Smokes.
love
Smokes girl.
huh?
Smokes
Smokes
girl.
girl. Smokes girl. I'm sorry. So Smoke Girl was I love that as a character, right?
Yeah.
I think that I love the girl who you was talking about as well. I think that I like here's what's funny though, man. I like the real dark girl who was messing with the young dude, right?
She was
I
also
thought that
married
it
in
was
the film.
yeah, she was also married in there as well. I love, and again, she had very much kind of the same thing that she could possibly have to lose. But what I do think that's incredible about that was how it tied up at the end, how he was basically saying, listen, all of this happened in one night, and it was the best night of my life up until that. I think that's the part that I think that was very like incredible about it. I think overall as a movie, one of the things that is interesting to me is that I'm very much into vampire movies. I think that there's only one vampire movie that I haven't seen. And now that I mentioned it, I'm probably gonna go ahead and watch that one ASAP. Like it's the vampire movie with like a French title, but I think that it's like Johnny Depp's daughter is one of the main characters in it. It's the only one that I haven't seen. But I've seen all the vampire movies, and typically, most of the vampire movies have some of the same things, and that are consistent. You kill them with garlic and drive a stake in their heart and everything like that. Like that part is pretty consistent. I think what I appreciated about this one is that I didn't know that this was a vampire movie until I saw the teeth. So I didn't see any. I saw one of the original trailers, but one of the original trailers I saw don't allude to the fact that there's vampires. You think that there are just monsters. So it could have been any kind of monster to me, and I would have enjoyed it just as much. But seeing that I'm a vampire movie lover, it made me like it that much more just because I was like, oh, snap. But I like that I'm watching it the whole time, and I was like, "Oh snap! The monsters are actually vampires." So, bro, so I thought it was dope. Where would you give the movie on a scale of 10?
I have it at a 9, but when I first left
Mm,
the theater, I had it at an 8. And I think the reason why
okay.
I have it at a 9 now is because the movie has marinated in my head so much. The commentary that I'm seeing everybody have off of it. I love the fact this is an original film. I love the fact that Ryan Coogler did it. I love the music. Uh, it's growing. It's got layers now. So like when like when you have leftovers, right? And it had a chance to sit in the refrigerator for a little bit, and them sauces and everything, the spices then enhance the food. It's like that. It's doing that in my head. So yeah, it's a 9 now. Some of the other things that I enjoyed about it, because like you said, yeah, I knew it was a vampire film, but I'm so glad I didn't watch any of the future trailers, because now that the movie has been out and they're showing more trailers, they're showing more spoilers. You know what I'm saying? And I would have been upset knowing that, you know, Haley was gonna turn into a vampire, or that Stack was gonna turn into a vampire. I would have been mad knowing that. You know what I'm saying? So
Let me tell you the one thing I like about it though, man. So with me, one of the things that I get out of it, being someone who is a vampire, fanatic movie, but I'm also a period, specific kind of guy as well. So what I enjoyed about it is the history aspect of them being in Mississippi, them being sharecroppers basically though, and the amount of payments that how they were paid. So when they were at the bar, and some people were paying basically in their sharecropper tokens though, man. And I think that that's one of the things that I read growing up, right, about blacks in the South and the sharecropping area post Jim Crow, post slavery, and everything like that. So I thought that that was one of the things that was real dope, man. I think that one of the things that was real cool about it is that I like while I'm sitting here, while I'm in the movies, I done thumbnailed the name of the city where I think it was which was the twins. The twin was telling the young boy that he needs to go to this town basically though, and the town that they were talking about was a town that was it was almost like Black Wall Street, right, in Tulsa, right, and in Oklahoma they had like a few of these black towns where you had black everything. Well, one of the towns in Mississippi that they were talking about was one of the first in that particular state to have black-owned businesses, black-owned barbers, black-owned dentists, black-owned medicine, black-owned everything was black-owned. So when they were saying it, I was like, wow, okay, I like that there was the accuracy of history there as well, though, man. So yeah. Real dope.
More history when you go to I think the guy said go to IMDb or the Spotify link for it, and there's these news articles that reference the movie where it says like there was a boat that happened and these Europeans got off of it, and there was a bunch of fire and stuff like that. So basically Remick had got out of that boat ride. Like all the other vampires had burnt up except for him, which we kind of saw parts of that in the movie. And then they was talking about a robbery that happened in Chicago, and the Italians was going at it with the, because of how they brought the liquor, and we saw that in the movie. So and they were saying that the people that robbed them had on masks, and there was two people, and they didn't know who it was, and so people are thinking it's the Smokestack brothers. So it just, like you said, just the connection piece of everything. But something I did learn that I didn't know about vampires, that you have to invite them in. I thought,
that was no, so that was in
when did it Vampire?
No, that was in Twilight. That was in all of, if you saw what the originals, that's always been a vampire thing though. Yeah, they got to invite you in for you to come in. You can't just walk on up in there though. Yeah,
well, I'm just saying I didn't remember that. So what was crazy is because I saw a commercial where there was a vampire, and it was the same thing, like you're not going to invite me in, and it just made me think of Sinner. So I just thought, like, what was you about to say?
Yeah, no, that's what made me think they might be vampires, or this guy might be vampires, because they kept insisting on, won't you just go and let me on in? And I was like, yeah. No, I think that it's cool. And like I said, I think that I'm with you though, man. So the only reason why I would probably give it like an 8.5, somewhere around there, and I'll be consistent. Now, here's the thing about it. It's a movie that I would love to go watch again. And so based off of that, it makes me think maybe 9, because there's very few times where not just watch it on TV, I would go back and watch it in the theater. And so replay value alone gives it, I think I can respect the 9 though, bro. Absolutely.
Now,
yeah.
Did you watch both post-credit scenes?
So I saw the credit scene where they came back after to when he was performing, when he was older. That was the only one I stayed.
Yeah. There was another one, and then most people probably missed it because I didn't even watch it. Of course, there was an Insta reel that was talking about the second scene. So, I didn't get to see
the second scene though.
Basically, he's young again, playing the guitar, and he's singing some song. And then the choir was also singing it, something like that, something to that effect. Like it was showing the full circle moment of the music aspect of stuff. So
I think I did see that. Now that you say that, if that's what it. So let me tell you this though. This is the part I think that is interesting. I think the part that is crazy to me though, right, is that the music part of the movie is one of the pieces that I enjoy the most, though, bro.
And
And I'm gonna tell you this. Hmm?
no, I was gonna say, you know who produced it, right? Ludwig from Mandalorian.
Well, listen, this is my thing. I'm not someone who typically watches musicals. Like I didn't watch La La Land because I thought there was it Ryan Gosling in there dancing around. Who I think that's who was in there.
I don't know.
Like I didn't want to see that. That wasn't him.
You think
Ryan Gosling wasn't in.
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
Yeah, I thought La La Land was a musical, and
See,
he's in it, right?
I knew about. I don't know, bro. You keep asking in three
Nah, I thought you know all of these movies.
Nah, I ain't never seen no La La Land, and I haven't seen The Greatest Showman either with Hugh Jackman. I ain't even seen that. I know he.
I don't even want to. I don't want to see it either, though, man. I didn't see what's that movie? What's the other one that he was in? La Rue something. He was in some French movie that was like a musical as well, though. But either way, though, man, like what I loved about it is that I like the reason why I like the music behind it is because again the guy is a blues player. It starts the music off by talking about the good influences of blues music and music in general, as long as the bad as well as the bad. So I think that I appreciated the little sequences that they had though, man. I appreciated the sequences where they where they were outside as well as inside. Like it was phenomenal, bro. I absolutely enjoyed. I mean, I was very thoroughly impressed with it, though, man.
Bro, I almost got in trouble at work today laughing so hard. Somebody sent me something, bro. I was in real life tears. They sent me the scene of You Got Served and said that this is what them vampires was doing outside the juke joint. Dog. I was in tears.
And just like that, though, man, I'm moving mine up. It's a 9 out of 10, bro. The more I'm talking about it, the more I'm talking about it. I was going 8.5 just to be safe, but I'm gonna go ahead and rip the band-aid off on safety and say, it's a 9 out of 10 to me. So 4.5 out of 5.
You heard it first on the Slash Brothers podcast. Sinners is deemed a 9 on the scale of 1 to 10. That's a 9 from the brothers.
It's almost perfect though, bro. Like I'm just sitting here thinking about. It's an action movie. It's a love. It's an epic. It's a lot of things, though, bro. And listen, like I said, I hate to be like the prisoner of the moment, where it's like, oh, right now in recency, I'm watching it, and it's nah, man, it's dope like that. Hella replay value, though, man. And I think, like I said, I think that it's a movie that I think will stand the test of time as well.
Yeah, dog. When that Chinese lady let them vampires in, bro, the theater, bro, lost it, bro.
Oh my gosh, man. Yeah. It's always one. It's always one of the people in every movie where you just be like, what the hell, man? Yeah. Drove me crazy.
So another something we talked about, and we kind of got a little bit more context is the boy Shannon Sharpe actually stepped down before until the football season starts. According to Stephen A, though, it was more of a mutual, like, hey, we kind of need to get him off TV for a little bit. You know, a lot of people's hating on Stephen A for reporting on it, and I actually, you know, as much as I don't ride with Stephen A, I respected what he said, how he said it. And I didn't feel like it was like people, because I heard like Andrew Schultz and them and Gary Owen talking about how they thought it was hate. And I'm like, I didn't see it as hate. Like he was being as informative as he could be from somebody who's kind of stuck in the middle, because ESPN is the day job. And then, of course, you know, Shannon still has Nightcap. He still has the Club Shay Shay. So the fact that he responded from the standpoint, like, listen, we work for Disney, bro. Like, even though I'm the executive producer of First Take, we work for the mouse. Like, with all the stuff coming out, you can't really have that. But to me, what I took from it is that Shannon ain't coming back, bro.
You don't think he coming back?
I don't think he coming back. Here's the thing. Even with this is the sad part, right? Because of course there was $100 million deal that was on the table for Shannon to sign upcoming, which of course timing is everything, right? But it's the way that Stephen A was saying stuff like, you know, regardless of what happens, that's still my boy and I'm a ride for him, right? That type of stuff. Like he ain't coming back.
Let me ask you this though, bro. Does it make you look at him any differently knowing that he offered this girl bread?
It does not, bro. Listen, people have got to get off of that, getting hung up on the fact of what he was going to offer this girl, because celebrities all of the time pay people off with the hopes of keeping things quiet, not because they're guilty. That paying people doesn't equal guilt, because this is what I'm talking about. If he was about to sign $100 million deal, his bag might be messed up. He might not even get that deal now because of this information came out. This is what messing up the bag looks like, because the lawyer fees, all the other stuff, this would not have even come out. We wouldn't have never heard about it. DL Hughley is the main one that got on there and told people on who the people that think they was Vlad TV. He got on Vlad TV, said, listen, people settle stuff all the time because they don't want it to come out, because it's the court of public opinion. Shannon ain't went to trial. Shannon ain't did none of that stuff yet. And people already are on his back like he did stuff wrong. What that man does in the privacy of his home is his business. If he has the money and the resources to be with the OnlyFans girl. So my thing is that who cares how old she was? She was of age, and he was obviously giving her whatever she wanted because she kept coming back and she swore up and down they was in a relationship. But the fact that it's messing up his public life, that's what I have an issue with. Because if he would have gave her the 10 mil, nobody would ever heard the story. He about to sign his $100 million deal. That's just a loss you write off and keep it pushing. That's my opinion.
My problem with this is this. For starters, when you say that this is a shakedown, that means that it's a money grab. And that looks different to me when you say, well, I've already offered. Now they just want more. So if you're saying to me that if this is a shakedown and you're going to go against it, you fighting it or whatever, that means you don't pay nothing, right? Nothing at all. And not 10 million. If you're telling me that he's going to sign $100 million contract, that means that 10% of that now goes to this girl. I got $10 million. This is my thing though, Ace. I think that the problem is, to me, this is going to sound crazy. It's the amount of money to me. It's talking about
the they asked for though. First, they asked for 50. They asked for 50.
Right. Let me tell you this. This is all I'm saying. If you feel like that it's something that would come out where you said, all right, well, if right now, if he's taking the approach, I can just explain this and people can say whatever they want to say. If it's just a tape, if it's just whatever it is, all right, because the position that he's taking now, right, is that it's a shakedown, so I'm gonna fight it, whatever. That's cool. But when you tell me that, well, I offered 10 and you said all this guy do, he's known for that. Well, if you know that he's known for that, there are also people who have basically fought back as guys who've countersued him. I'm just telling you that when you're saying that when it's a shakedown, that to me, you're saying you're one of those guys, and that because you're one of those guys where you feel like you're being like attacked, then you fight back. You got the money, you got the resource, but I'm not going to pay somebody $10 million, bro. And I understand that you're saying that $10 million means that this never comes up. But I'm just saying to me, I've never been in a position to offer somebody $10 million, bro. For that, I'm just gonna just write a check and say, hey, all right, I'm gone. I got $100 million coming.
But if you was going to sign $100 million, this is the thing. You see the evidence that's out there that looks crazy from other people's life. Listen, if you're doing whatever you're doing behind closed doors, all the little freaky text messages and stuff like that, that doesn't mean nothing. If you in whatever you're doing with a consenting adult, that doesn't mean anything. But when you just release that stuff and you're trying to now imply that I did X, Y, and Z, That 10 million versus that 100 million is a big difference. I would easily take 90 million over no million.
Maybe though,
Maybe.
bro. Maybe.
So basically you in a position now to turn down $90 million.
I've never been in a position to turn down 90, but I've never also been in a position to write somebody a check for $10 million. Just now, listen. Now this is my thing though. If we talk about, to me, this is my thing. I would feel more comfortable if he just said, you know what, I'll write you a little 1 million, $100,000 would be worth. But nah, bro, I'm not writing somebody.
You're saying that
I'm not right. Listen, and I'm saying that from my vantage point, having never gone through it. I'm just telling you that from my civilian perspective, bro, I just can't justify paying somebody $10 million to as a threat in response to a threat for them that they're going to disclose our sex life. Like, nah, I'm not with that, bro.
Listen, it's from my vantage point. If that's what you got to pay because you was lacking, because the thing is that this is a person that you're saying you weren't in a relationship with, right? You was having jump offs with this girl, right? So if that's the case, you slipped. That's a part of your mistake that you got to pay for. But if I know why mess up the entire bag for principle when that's what I'm saying? If you think this is the first time Shannon has been sued or that other folks haven't been sued, sometimes you do pay just to keep it quiet, because it's just like what we're having this conversation right now, because it's the perception. All this is it's a white girl saying her side of the story versus a black man. And how does that typically go historically?
Listen, I understand what you're saying, but if what I'm telling you is that if what Shannon Sharpe is saying is that I'm going to be truthful and forthcoming with all of the details that's necessary, anything that's necessary to clear my name. That's what they say in the movies. I'm gonna clear my name. I'm gonna clear my name. And it's in every movie, right? Nah, man, you do that. But my thing is, I guess my thing is this though, bro, is that if you know that this is a shakedown, listen, if you're gonna settle, that's fine. I'm not selling for $10 million.
Charles, this is the problem. The part of the information that he doesn't have is the tape that they're using against him. Because they can cut that tape, because Shannon don't have a copy of the tape. So they can cut that tape up any way they want to. Any way they want to.
He should know what's up. But he should know, even though they can do that and he don't have access to it, he should be able to hear what they're referring to, and he should know exactly what's on there.
He should, but they aren't releasing it to him because they're saying that this is the big part of our case, as if it goes to trial. So what I'm saying is,
so when you release the whole thing, then that should show that should provide the clarity everybody needs to justify and clear my name.
But you again, they only released a part of the tape, bro. They only released the part that they wanted to release. So what I'm saying is, Shannon can't make them release the whole part of the tape until they go to court. So again, now you're talking lawyer fees. Now you're talking time. Now you're talking about court of public opinion. All of this stuff, when it could have been settled for 10 million, you get your 90 million, and
whatever the lawyer fees are, it's not going to be $10 million, bro. It can't be $10 million. If you pay $1 million in lawyer fees, $1 million in lawyer fees to clear my good name is worth it.
Charles, it ain't about how much the lawyer fees was gonna be. What you missing, the part that I'm saying, is that you're not getting the new bag because this is messing up your whole bag. Because this is the thing. It's hold on. The other part is this. It has, because now his ESPN job is in jeopardy, right? His sponsors that go to his personal stuff, like Club Shay Shay and Nightcap, those sponsors are talking about dipping. So what I'm saying is, this person not only is costing you the short term, it's costing you long term. So it's going to add up. So what I'm saying is, if you paid the 10 mil and get it off the books, none of the other bag is messed up. You gonna make that 10 mil back. It ain't. No, I'm not saying it's gonna happen overnight, but I'm saying you're losing sponsorships. Do you know how long it's gonna take for him to?
I get it though, bro. But here's my thing about it: the minute you go ahead and settle, there's always the public opinion that's already hit them now that it's an admission of guilt, right? And I think that the problem that I have is this, though, right? is that to me, it's like, all right, well, you know what? If its sponsors are going to leave, right, or if its sponsors are threatening, whatever they're going to do, though, right? If he settles right now for $10 million, right? I think that they would be able, if they were going to leave because of the allegations, they would just leave because I think settling to me doesn't change the fact. Maybe it doesn't disclose the details, right? But I think that my thing is that the
That's not
assumption.
what no, you're still missing it. The settlement was offered before it became public, is what I'm saying. What I'm saying is when Tony Busby called his legal team and said, "Hey, we got this stuff. We're about to release it. We want 50 mil, or we're gonna start releasing it." And then Shannon was like, "We ain't gonna give you 50, but we'll give you 10." And they was like, "Nah, we want more than that." That's when Shannon said, "Oh," and so then that's when they released the tape when Shannon them said no. So what I'm saying is when Tony Busby calls them first and offered the 50, and if they would have took the 10, nobody would have known anything. That's what I'm saying. You're saying
I
that
don't know.
you're saying if he was to settle now, then people are like, "Oh, it's the admission of guilt."
Sure, right.
But that's what I'm talking about. It would have never seen the light of day because you would have
I
had
see,
this
man.
kind of
See, that's the
NDA.
thing. You talk about, yeah, you're talking about hindsight. I'm talking about going. I'm talking about right now.
But
I'm just saying that,
we have
yeah,
to talk about the hindsight because that's all a part. This is what I'm saying. The hindsight is the part that I'm telling you other celebrities have commented on. There are other celebrities that have gone through things that aren't guilty that have just paid it off so that the public opinion the piece doesn't come out because sometimes you can't get that stain off because again, regardless of what happens, there is still going to be a portion of people that are going to think that he's guilty just based upon what you said right now.
right.
What I'm saying is
Right.
if it had been gone from the beginning, nobody would have known. He would have got his bag, his sponsors would have still been there, and his life would have moved forward. But because he wanted to fight and do this, that, and the other, and he didn't take care of it on the front end of it, this is where it's at. And that's what I'm talking about. He wouldn't be in this position now.
I feel you. I just respect the principle of him basically trying to clear his name, bro. I respect that.
Principle is fine, but it's $100 million less too. And
Yeah, I respect that, though.
listen, now he don't have 100 million bag, and he still got the lawyer fee, so he's still paying out of pocket to try to clear his name when he could have just cleared his name from the beginning.
Maybe. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that take.
I'm not mad either. I'm not mad at him fighting for his name either. I just hate that again, somebody that we look up to for being, that turned his life around from being a professional athlete and then made a name for himself. I'm not even mad at him for all the stuff that he did because again, that stuff that he's doing, he a grown up, bro. She's a grown up. Regardless of what people think her age was when he was doing, oh, he shouldn't have been 54 messing with no 19 or 20-year-old. Man, leave that man alone. Let him live.
Does look kind of. I'm not gonna lie, man. Does look a little sketchy to me, bro.
Bro, when you just knocking something down.
But
and he said, release the tape. I know it's like 10 minutes. Release the tape.
Paul Heyman is engaged to a 22-year-old, bro.
Oh, he trying to be Bill Belichick out here, ain't he?
I sent you a post of that he made, and yeah, his girl. It looks like. Listen, she's a WWE blonde. She looks like a WWE blonde. She's 22 years old, though, bro. Paul Heyman got to be about 60 years old.
Now, who called him the Walrus? I'll never forget. Was it John Cena?
I think John Cena did call him the Walrus, though, man. But yeah, he's with a 22-year-old, and listen. She looks better than Shannon Sharp's 20-year-old, by the way. So I got to give him props. If you're gonna go there, if you were into like this, if you were into young white women, then that is the one that he got, though, bro. Yeah, the big boobs, it's everything. Yeah, it's very cookie cutter, though. If you're an older guy and you like young white girls, this is the one for you, though, bro. That Paul Heyman got, and he ain't got not a single muscle on his body.
Boy, got that long bread though.
Hey.
Yeah. Man, what's going on in these NBA playoffs, bro?
Well, wait.
Oh, you got something
before
else?
We jump into the playoffs, jump into the playoffs, because we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about this.
All right, let's get it.
What we doing about Shedeur Sanders?
Honestly, there's nothing we can do. It suck, yeah, because this is who it's gonna suck for. Anybody that drafted a quarterback and they don't have a successful season. Like whoever drafted Dart better be doing his thing. You know what I'm saying? Whoever else got drafted above him, quarterback wise, because it sucks because the Browns got who they wanted. They wanted him. You know what I'm saying? And then the internet never fails. They went and dug up Dion's tweet talking about some. I would never let, or something to the effect like a young quarterback shouldn't want to go to Cleveland. I would pull a Eli Manning, and then of course, Shedeur goes out.
By the way, you'd be hard pressed to find a franchise with a worse draft quarterback experience than the Browns. So what Dion may have said back then was valid. Here's one of the things that I almost turned in my New Orleans Saints fanhood card, bro. I almost did. Because here's the thing that pissed me off so bad, though, right? For one, we wouldn't have had to reach at all. Now, don't get me wrong. Our line was trash. So I respected the fact that we drafted Texas's best offensive lineman. Cool. That made sense, right? But then I'm thinking like, okay, well, now we know our line is trash. So now here it is. He done fell down. We got picked like 41. Now we can go ahead and get us the heir apparent to Derek Carr, which, by the way, he's hurt. He's had surgery, so he's not going to even start the season. So I'm thinking like, yo, this is the opportunity. When that falls, though, bro, and when they drafted some guy who I had never heard of, all right, that's one thing. Because maybe I just haven't been on the up and up outside of SEC football because I'm just a Texas through guy. But when I saw that this dude used to play for Texas Tech, and I was wondering why I never heard of him, and it's because he transferred to Louisville. And then when I'm looking at this dude and find out that he's about to be 26 years old, right, bro? You like an 8-year veteran already in the NFL, 6-year veteran in the NFL coming into it. And I just there's nothing that you can do to explain to me the justification. Let's just say if you pick Jalen Milroe, right? Or if you pick somebody who has won on a high level on the biggest platforms, and you said, hey, we want to draft us a project, maybe, right? Even if we would have picked Jackson Dart, right? That would have been one thing. But when we draft some dude, I think his name was like Shuck. I don't even know his name. And I'm just looking at him. I'm like, bro, you was trash at all the schools you transferred to. And yeah, you went out to Louisville to play against lesser competition and you put up some numbers. But I'm like, you should, bro. You like going on 30 years old, oh man. And I'm just like, dog, get him out of my face. And so then if your other teams that you've drafted, like you said, all these other quarterbacks in front of him. And this is again the number 2 in most cases. Number 2 rated quarterback in the entire draft. And some people had him as the number 1 quarterback. I just don't know how you can't consider that collusion was a thing, because you can't just sit there and tell me that all NFL teams just knew something about him and his evaluation that nobody else knew, right? If Mel Kiper and Todd McShay and all these draft experts have him draft listed at this particular height, right? All consistently. And then you tell me that this man is a 6th-round draft pick. Don't give me the Tom Brady comparison, none of that, because Tom Brady wasn't what Shedeur Sanders was in college, right? He just wasn't. And so when I'm looking at that, though, bro, I'm thinking like, bro, how is it that all of the NFL teams, every single one of them, like I was almost to a point wondering, well, damn, is it possible that he might not even get drafted, bro? Because if you didn't draft him in the first 5 rounds, what made you pick him in the 6th round? And then when I saw the draft room, right, none of the people looked like they wanted to do it, which kind of made it seem like, did the owners make these dudes draft Shedeur Sanders? Because this is the same owner who paid Deshaun Watson. He drafted he wanted to draft Johnny Manziel. A lot of their bad quarterback plays have been under his watch. And so I'm just sitting here thinking, like, did Cleveland really want him, right? Or did the owners just say, go and pick him on up, though, man? I can't explain why he fell so far though, bro. I just can't think of anything else. But I just don't know how in my history of watching all of these guys uh fall in the draft, but still get drafted. I've never seen anybody fall unexplainably that far down, bro. It's
Man,
crazy.
you know what it is, bro. They was trying to teach the black man a lesson, bro. You know what I'm
I
saying?
think that's what it is.
I think it definitely has something to do with Dion, right? Because they know how involved Dion is with his kids, right? It's the same thing the NBA wanted to do with Lonzo and them dad. You know what I'm saying?
LeVar Ball.
Yeah. So it's just that they actually did it. You know what I'm saying? Because you think all these teams, I don't care if you got a good quarterback or not. Some of these teams got expiring quarterbacks to where they need to be looking for a replacement. And you can't,
My team.
that's what I'm saying. And you can't tell me that it took you to the 6th round or the 5th round to draft him. Like, nah, this was them trying to teach Dion them a lesson, right? As far because here's the thing, I didn't follow the draft. I'm talking about all the stuff leading to the draft, like the combine stuff on what Shedeur did in combine or didn't want to do or said he wasn't going to do or whatever like that. But only thing that they kind of have been releasing now is that he didn't interview well. But the fact, and they said that was what New York was like. That's what turned them off.
Anonymous sources, by the way.
Yeah.
No names to this.
I mean, but you know, if there's some smoke, there's some fire behind it. And the thing is that at the end of the day, again, a lot of people did not want to have the Dion experience attached to Shedeur. So a lot that has to do with a lot. And you know what I'm saying? But again, I'm the glass half full guy. This is going to be some motivation when that dude ever does get on that field. He going to show everybody why they should have drafted him. And if he's supposed to come out on top, he's going to come out on top.
Yeah, they drafted Dylan Gabriel. And this is my thing, though, bro. I know that this is the thing I think that's crazy to me. When Dylan Gabriel transferred to Oregon, right? I was like, wait a minute, is this not the same Dylan Gabriel that we were smacking around at OU? Like, why is anybody acting like when they was like he's a Heisman Trophy candidate early in the season? I'm like, oh, we've been smacking him around for years. Why you think he's at OU? I mean, why you think he's at Oregon? Because we've been smacking him around for years. And so I'm just thinking like, y'all picked him. Like it's like you knew you needed a guy. I would love for someone to have the balls to come out and say, this is why we did it. If somebody said we looked at his tape and we just wasn't that impressed by his tape to say, well, that's something that we want to invest in. I would certainly, right, appreciate and respect that. Then for somebody to just be like, yeah, it just wasn't, he just wasn't better for our program.
That's the thing. It's not gonna happen because they're gonna do it again. They are trying
to. The Steelers said this morning that a quarterback wasn't it wasn't in their immediate future. They're looking for their quarterback next year. Well, guess what? They drafted a quarterback this year, right? So it's like, wait a minute, you drafted a guy and you just drafted him, even though you're saying that you don't need it. Quarterback wasn't a need that you were looking to address this year. We're gonna go out our quarterback next year, though, right? I'm just sitting here thinking, like, well, why'd you pick money up anyway then in the draft? That's what I'm just like, the stuff that people say though, bro. But I would love to really know what is it about Shedeur Sanders that turns the NFL off, bro? Because if they didn't want him, it could be very much undeniable that he picks up and he's more effective than Joe Flacco, that he's more effective than Kenny Pickett, right? And Dylan Gabriel, right? So if he comes out and he's better and you didn't want to pick him anyway, is it going to be where it's like Pat Mahomes, right? They drafted him in the first round and he was outplaying Alex Smith in practice and they was like, no, we've seen enough. Let's put him in. I wonder even still with Shedeur Sanders, if they didn't want to pick him and they felt like it was something that the owners pushed him to do, that even if Shedeur Sanders rocks out though, bro, that they still don't get him going with that. Maybe another team fits with him.
That's what I'm saying. I think another team, like I said, if he is supposed to rise to the top, it's going to happen. Like that's not, the destination is not going to change. The route might. but the destination is gonna be the same.
Mm.
It's a GPS for him at this point, right? You start heading down a road and then it takes you down a different road, but you still gonna end up where you're supposed to be, and that's what I feel.
I'll never forgive the Saints for passing on them, bro. Never.
Yeah. See, I
Never
wasn't that
forgive them for
interested.
that.
I wasn't that interested in the draft because I feel like we did what we was trying to do in the offseason. You know, so I wasn't overly concerned about the draft like that.
Now, I wouldn't have been mad if we would have picked Quinn Ewers, right? And we had him as our project quarterback to get him up to snuff. That would have been a good look. You already picked up our best. You picked up Texas' best defensive lineman, best offensive lineman. Go and get him a quarterback out there, man. I would have loved to see Quinn Ewers in a Saints uniform, though, bro.
Yeah, that boy out there chilling in Miami, bro.
And listen, no pressure to play, but listen, Tua injury history, he seemed like it could be where he could get his number. I would really love to see Quinn Ewers excel as a pro, man. Like he had his moments with us where he was great, and then he had his moments where it was just like, golly, it left a lot to be desired. But I would love to see him thrive though in the NFL, where it's just like, all right, yeah. You became one of them guys where it clicked. Like Tom Brady, not Tom Brady on the scale, but when I saw Tom Brady at Michigan, I mean, I didn't think that Tom Brady was like Hall of Fame evaluation. Like, nah, bro. So Quinn Ewers got time though, man.
Yeah,
So does Shedeur though, bro.
I just don't want him to end up like Colt. You know what I'm saying? That's what I don't want. So
yeah, that's true.
And I ain't heard nothing about Sam Ellinger. So
I think Ellinger's still in the league as a backup though.
Yeah, he was with the Colts for a little bit, so I don't know where he is.
I think at one time he was like in New York or something like that though, bro. Some obscure backup somewhere though.
Yeah. All right, bro. So what's up with the draft? I mean with the playoffs. We got some teams that went packing yesterday. But before we get to that, I wanted to ask you, did you see the game, not this last game, because obviously Detroit won, but the previous game where it ended where Tim Hardaway Jr. was shooting at 3 and got fouled?
Yeah.
What you think about that, bro? What do you think about the officiating in the playoffs?
Okay, so listen, what I don't like, this is the thing I don't like, and they do this all the time in the NBA, where you let a bunch of play go by in the regular season, and then you referee the games tougher, or certain things you would let slide or call tight, you now call them more loose. So you try to make it more physical. This is the tricky part about it, though, right? The tricky part about it is what I don't like is that I don't like the referees being a factor in games, in the outcomes of games, right? But with all things considered, this what they got going on, the more physical play, the NBA ratings are back up for the playoffs, better than they were last year, and it's been some pretty good ratings. So I guess this referee intervention or not calling stuff, it's been helpful to the views. But I hate it because I don't like that you've called all season long one way and now you're changing how you call it. Like if you're going to do that, then call it that way all the time. With that being said, I don't think that one play is the reason why the Pistons lost, and that's the reason why I'm not mad at that one play not decided. He clearly was fouled, but I'm thinking that they had other opportunities where I'm not going to blame that particular win or loss based off of one play.
No. I'm not saying that they lost because of that, but you also didn't give them the opportunity to lose, because you can say all day long they blew calls all throughout the game. I get that. But when a team fights back or gets to a position to be able to come back and win the game, you can't, like you said, you don't want to have the human element be the reason why somebody didn't win or lose. From that, then that's what I'm coming from it from the aspect of, is because the referees had an opportunity to put him on the line, not because of he deserved it or anything, because it clearly was a foul. Because here's the thing, it was a foul, and then you came out later on and said that it was a foul. That's the problem.
I don't like. That's the thing about. I hate the NBA 2-minute report so bad, because don't tell me about all the things that you did wrong after the fact. I don't care at that point, though, bro. I'll tell you this: the thing that I am more interested in, right, more than that play, I am more interested in why the hell Coach Thibodeau had in the last minute and 30-some seconds of the last game had Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart just standing at the line, waiting to be subbed in, and the clock runs out without them ever going in. Nobody ever fouled. The play never stopped. And I'm thinking, like, why the hell didn't he just call a timeout to get the guys in? Why did he make somebody force a foul or something? But that's something to me that's even more inexplicable, bro, than the referee not calling that. Because then you took out the referee intervention, and that's just all coaching. So maybe that's how it should be, right? It didn't have nothing to do with the referees.
Exactly.
I can respect that. I can respect that.
I had no issue with that because that was a coaching discretion. That's what I'm saying, though. If you put Tim Hardaway Jr. on the line, if he makes it, okay, cool. But if he missed it, then they weren't supposed to win. But the fact that that was clearly a foul, put him on the line. That's my whole thing is stop interfering with the game because y'all just walked off, didn't want to review it. I mean, they sat there and reviewed that Denver and LA game when Aaron Gordon dunked at the end of the game.
I thought that was incredible, by the way.
It was very
incredible. And listen, on you know what's cool to me, on the cool, I think that series probably is the more entertaining series to me. It's the one that I think that's the most well-balanced one in terms of talent on the teams. I think that what's crazy about it, though, man, is that I think that the one thing that I don't think that people are really considering, right, is the implications of this playoff for the future of the NBA, right? Because here's what I'm saying with this, all right? Let's just say that LeBron and them lose, right? Then you kind of have this conversation now about the Luka experience and the pass it on. Because listen, I'm watching LeBron go, and all the minutes that he's clocking, I'm seeing LeBron. He still looks like prime LeBron. But then it's like, you know, it goes back to the effectiveness, right? Like how much is that 26, 28 points affecting the game? And I think there are moments where he does, especially now. But then you think, what does this mean for LeBron if he's only going to play 1-2 more seasons? You have those questions, right? Then you also say, well, within the Clippers and the Nuggets series, it's like, well, dang, you know, if the Nuggets lose and if you just fired your coach, all right, are you also considering they maybe need to start breaking up this particular team? But then if the Clippers lose, you know what I'm saying? You already signed Kawhi and James Harden. What do you do to get over the hump? I think that's the question that I think that's the biggest thing. Like, what does Memphis do, right, to get over the hump? They got spanked, right? So what is their move in the offseason to propel them forward? Because either you at this level propel forward or you drop down to the lottery, right? So Miami, right? I don't think anybody had Miami pegged to win, but they got washed. And so I'm thinking, what? How do you rebuild your squad after that? The Knicks and Pistons. The Pistons have nothing to lose because they're the new guys on the scene, right? But if the Knicks just so happen to lose this, right? You done went out and paid all of these guys big money, good money out here, though. And when you don't win, even if they lose to the Celtics, it's like, bro, everybody, I think this time, I don't recall a time where I remember playoffs had as big of an implication on the next season or the season after that because of a loss, though, bro.
Well, and a team you didn't mention was Houston, right? Because Jalen Green is supposed to be their guy, but he out here scoring 7 points and 9 points in the whole game. That ain't gonna get you over the hump when that's supposed to be your guy. So the conversation has already started. Is who gonna get KD?
Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. You gotta include him and Jabari Smith in any package for any of your upgrades. Jabari Smith and Jalen Green are your guys. They're the ones that you would be able to go ahead and give up the fastest. So, but okay, here we go. Here we go again. If you get KD on the Rockets, right?
Mm-hmm.
KD's gonna be your number one guy. Then who's gonna be the number one?
It ain't gonna be KD because KD don't want that. And I mean, you still got Van Vliet.
Van Vliet is gonna be your number one, and Kevin Durant's gonna be the number two.
Yep. And then you got Şengün. You got, I mean, you have still some young nucleus. Because the thing is that what they would look for KD to do is give them points that Jalen Green ain't giving you right now. You know what I'm saying? Like the rest, I mean, you got your enforcer out there. You got Dylan Brooks out there. You got some other young guys that you got Amen Thompson out there. So you have other guys. You just need you can't outscore Golden State right now. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So that's what a lot of the conversation has been, is like, man, Kevin Durant, because the thing that the Suns want, they need some picks. They don't have any picks, and Houston has them to give. And yeah, like you said, they're gonna be requesting somebody good too to be on the squad. So
Jabari Smith, Jalen Green's, and one of the picks that'll get you KD. But then here's my thing, though. I think that does make them better. I think that this is the thing. I think that Amen Thompson is the primary guy guarding Steph. And I think that because he's burning so much energy on guarding, that's why you don't see his points like that, though. But Jalen Green, it's like people have always said that he's only good for offense. And if his offense ain't dropping, it's like, well, what good are you then, though, man? Because you ain't exactly knocking nobody up, though, man. So I don't know, bro. He's an anomaly. Like, I think that he's an incredible athlete and an incredible scorer when he's on. But when you score like 30-something points, and then you think, oh, okay, this might be the turnaround, and then you follow up with single-digit points, single digits, it's just like, bro, come on, man.
Yeah,
come on.
I still don't want Denver to win, even though it looks like they're gonna do it. My thing is, when Denver lose, I just don't want them to lose because of Russ. Like, put that on Jamal Murray and Joker, but don't put it on Russ. Like, I don't want Russ to be. But Russ was balling out yesterday, bro. He had like 20 points.
Yeah, he did his thing, though, man. And I think that they needed every single point and minute of that because Joker had just a fairly low scoring output, though, man. But yeah, man.
Okay, last question.
Did
you see the Halliburton, the ending to the Bucks game?
See, this is my thing, bro. I got a problem with that, bro. I got a problem with that. Right? Because this is my thing. I don't think that Giannis would have been in the wrong if he would have just started throwing them things on his dad. Now, I think that respectfully, maybe he knew that was Halliburton's dad. But to be head-to-head, nose-to-nose like that, like, bro, don't that would be like who was at that time that Shannon Sharp got into it? Was that Dylan Brooks that he got into it with?
Got into it with John's dad.
Yeah, he got into it with John's dad, but I'm talking about he was jarring with a player as well. And my thing is this: if you want to put yourself into a story that's the NBA game, you can be a player in the story then, bro. But Giannis, listen, I think that Giannis would have cleared out the arena. It would have been Malice in the Palace Part 2 if that boy would have just threw them things on. And I wouldn't have thought that Giannis was wrong, though, bro. He respectfully, bro, didn't put hands on it. And I'm not saying that. I'm not going to assume that everybody who's in the NBA can fight because I clearly don't think, but 10% of the NBA can actually fight, right? But I'm just saying that if Giannis was way bigger than Halliburton's dad, if he would have put them hands on him, though, bro, I don't think he would have been in the wrong. And I would have been disappointed if the league fined him. If anything, Halliburton should have been fined.
Yeah, because that's your people's.
I'm saying, even if it's my son, I'm not going to feel like I'm empowered to approach another player from the opposing team or insert myself in the game. Like, nah, bro, I'm a fan. That's it, though, bro.
And I'm gonna be happy that my son won. Like, what more do you need to say after that? Like, you get an opportunity to meet these guys. I would be congratulating them and everything. Like, hey, bro, great season. Like, nah, yeah, I don't know, man. Any other teams that you interested in? Any matchups that you interested in?
Man, you know what? I'm not gonna lie though, bro. I do want to see. I want to see. Because that's the thing about I'm not able to catch as many West Coast games because they staying up so late. But I am very interested in this Warriors Rockets game today because if I'm not mistaken, I think that they play in Houston today, and the referees have been letting Houston rough up Steph Curry in Houston, though, bro. So I'm just kind of curious if that'll continue as well. I took a quick glance at the game, and I thought that Houston was already up. So it kind of tells me, though, man, that I think this one might be a 6-game series unless Steph goes Steph, or unless Jimmy does something, though, bro. But I am curious to see how they're going to call the game.
All right, last question about the playoffs. Are the Lakers going home tonight?
I think so. I think so. And here's the thing about it, though, bro. I want to tell you this. If the Lakers go out, I think LeBron's going to go out with like 30, 40 points. With that being said, I think that Luka will have about 20 points, though, bro. 20 on the dot. I don't, it's funny. It's as good as Luka is, though, bro. It's still hard for me to just put that he's a killer, match him up as a killer. Like, I know that he's really good. I don't see a killer yet, though, bro. And not just that, though. It's like back against the wall. What you gonna do? And I don't know. Bro. So I think they out of here, bro, only because I only trust LeBron on that court, man. He's the only guy that out for the Lakers. And I think that, listen, man, I like Ant-Man say he gonna send him home, bro. He been saying he said, I'm gonna be the one that's gonna retire LeBron. And I love that, bro. I absolutely love that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that he's been going at LeBron, man. I like it a lot. I did get nervous when LeBron fell on his leg. I thought his knee was gone.
But I love that. I love that. It's almost like how Michael Jordan had that moment where he had to take the baton from Magic to go ahead and go forward. And while this might not be that, I think in terms of him being the face of the league, like he's been saying, I think in order for you to be the face of the league, you got to go through LeBron, though, bro. Yeah. It got to be handed to you from LeBron or taken. So that's what I like the most, though.
Yeah. Well, look, bro, don't adjust your sets. This is a Wednesday, we know, and you'll join us back again next week to Slash Brothers at 7 Eastern time, 6 o'clock Central time on Tuesday. So join us again next Tuesday, and you can follow all the socials, do all the things, and we'll see you next time from ATL to OKC. We are the Slash Brothers, and we'll see y'all next time. We out.
It doesn't matter what your name is.
The Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast of all time. The Slash Brothers Podcast, the greatest podcast.
Can you dig it, sucker?
Yep.